I was talking about this commentary that Dana Bash did at CNN, which was like unhinged. And I'm trying to understand one, she's a political correspondent. Two, she's an anchor. When you listen to this commentary that she gives, how did this get past standards and practices at CNN? I'm gonna play some of this, so check this out.
Politics, I'm Dana Bash. We start with destruction, violence, and hate on college campuses across the country. This was the scene just a short while ago at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Police clashing with protesters. 12 people were arrested. Hours earlier, protests rocked the University of Arizona, where campus police used chemical irritant munitions to remove protesters. Around the same time at UCLA, pro-Israel and pro-Palestinian groups were attacking each other, hurling all kinds.
Let me stop right there. First of all, that's a lie. Pro-Israeli protesters attacked pro-Palestinian. The pro-Palestinian protesters were defending themselves. The video is undeniable. They were not attacking each other. The pro-Palestinian protesters were defending themselves after they were attacked by the pro-Israel demonstrators. That's called a fact, and it shouldn't be confused. Okay, go back to it.
Objects, a wood pallet, fireworks, parking cones, even a scooter. And before that, the NYPD was able to clear Columbia University after protesters barricaded themselves inside a campus building. 300 people were arrested at Columbia and City College of New York.
See right here. So let me show you what they just did there. You're discussing Columbia, saying protesters barricaded themselves. Now we know that it actually were outsiders who took over the building. 44 at Columbia. The rest were at City College. Here's the difference. Columbia is a private university. It's a closed campus. City is a public university. It's wide open. But when you put the two together, oh my God, 300 arrests. What sounds different? 300 at Columbia and City College, or 44 at Columbia and more than 250 at City College? But you show video of Columbia. Okay, go ahead.
But it is unclear how many were actually students. New York City Mayor Eric Adams warned this morning that professional outside agitators are getting involved.
Okay, let's stop right here. So here's a problem when you go on the air, when you say it's unclear how many were outside agitators. So why are you quoting a number? If anybody on my staff says, I think there were 30 people arrested, my first response is, what do you mean I think? What's the number? Well, I read this and it was 18, so where did 30 come from? Well, see what happens when you start asking questions? So when you go on the air and you throw something out there and you don't have the actual information, then I'm sorry, what are you saying? Because she was very clear when she said 300 protesters at Columbia, and then said they were students. Wasn't factual. Let's go.
There is a movement to radicalize young people, and I'm not going to wait until it's done and all of a sudden acknowledge the existence of it. This is a global problem that young people are being influenced by those who are professionals at radicalizing our children, and I'm not going to allow that to happen as the mayor of the city of New York.
Okay, you mean such as when the NYPD said that there was the wife of a terrorist that was inside one of the buildings at Columbia, and then we later found out that wasn't factual? Gotcha. Okay.
Many of these protests started peacefully with legitimate questions about the war. But in many cases, they lost the plot. They're calling for a ceasefire. Well, there was a ceasefire on October 6th, the day before Hamas terrorists brutally murdered more than 1,000 people inside Israel and took hundreds more as hostages. This hour, I'll speak to an American-Israeli family whose son is still held captive by Hamas since that horrifying day that brought us to this moment. You don't hear the pro-Palestinian protesters talking about that. We will. Now, protesting the way the Israeli...
Okay, so Dana Bash said you don't hear the pro-Palestinian protesters talking about the hostages. Did y'all hear Dana Bash mention the 30,000 Palestinians killed? I didn't hear that. Okay.
She's a liar.
Government, the Israeli Prime Minister is prosecuting the retaliatory war against Hamas is one thing. Making Jewish students feel unsafe at their own schools is unacceptable, and it is happening way too much right now.
I'm a UCLA student. I deserve to go here. We pay tuition. This is our school, and they're not letting me walk in. My class is over there. I want to use that entrance. Well, I can't take it. Will you let me go in? This could be over in a second. Just let me and my friends go in.
Again.
Okay, all right. Here's the problem with that video. Did y'all see all of the students just walking around behind them?
He was just right there. Just go right the fuck over there.
Again, I want people who are watching, I need you to pay attention when people post stuff like this. There are people just walking behind them, and this dude is standing there. They won't let me go by. So you mean to tell me that on this massive campus, they have a line that stretches all the way over, they're not letting you walk by? And Dana, you actually use that video? Like, really? And you have the other students standing right there who are all quiet.
Right.
And if y'all see the frame, it's shot vertical, so you only see about 4 or 5 people. You don't even see how long. Y'all, come on now. Now listen to this.
You just saw is 2024 in Los Angeles, hearkening back to the 1930s in Europe. And I do not say that lightly.
Okay, I'm sorry. She just said that what you saw in Los Angeles harkened back to the 1930s in Europe. Okay, let me go back. What happened in Los Angeles? She showed one dude who claims that he couldn't go to his class, but other students were milling all. And then, okay, as I said, the pro-Israeli protesters attacked the Palestinian protesters. So how are you hearkening back to the 1930s? And I don't say it lightly. Well, actually, you do say it lightly. And y'all, this is the problem you're seeing in mainstream media. You see the conflating of things. You see, and then it's like, oh, the pro-Palestinian students, they lost the plot. How? At Brown announced they are going to actually take a vote to divest. And they're not going to penalize the students.
Exactly.
You leave that out. That's literally a fact. But see, again, no, because see, y'all gotta understand, if I come across somebody protesting, the first thing I'm gonna say is, why y'all protesting? Mm-hmm. What are the reasons? But y'all notice, at no point, she mentioned, oh, the war and God. No. Their students first at Columbia, they were protesting the opening of a center in Tel Aviv that Palestinian students could not attend. That's a fact. If you go, the original letter they submitted had the details in it. Oh, I'm sorry, details. That's called being a reporter. My bad. What was I thinking? Listen.
Fear among Jews in this country is palpable right now. Welcome to Inside Politics. I'm Dana Bash. We start.
So again, what we're seeing, Reese, we're seeing media folk create these narratives as opposed to, one, lean on folks who are on the ground. There was a sister at NBC who was on the ground saying, I was there. What y'all are saying happened, I didn't see. She's on the ground. You're sitting in a studio, Joe and Mika, in Florida, at your house in Florida. What the hell are you talking about? Well, I talked to friends. No, but you're not on the ground. And so what then happens is the media narrative becomes fact. Folk then run with it and say, well, CNN said, MSNBC said, as opposed to what actually happened. And this, to me, is a fundamental problem that we're seeing.
Well, I don't even think it becomes fact. It just further erodes people's trust in the mainstream media. This is why the trust in the media is in the pits, along with trust in Congress and a number of other institutions, because we see propaganda being pushed as though it is news. We see narratives being pushed that do not square with the facts, with what we can see with our own two eyes. And I mean, I don't know if people just have lost their damn minds or if they're just depraved individuals. I understand that there's a lot of fear around Trump being reelected, around this potentially hurting President Biden's electoral chances. And so, oh my God forbid anybody protest in favor of humanity, because that could hurt the Democrats. What about the people getting slaughtered? You know what could help the Democrats? Doing the right fucking thing. You know what could help the Democrats? Responding to these protests in a manner that honors the humanity of people and decency. You know what is escalating these protests, escalating the violence? Every single video that you showed, the common denominator was the police fucking with people. Yes. If you allow people to sleep in their tents, sit down, sing kumbaya shit, have a human chain, whatever, then they will go on about their business. These people are not agitators for the most part. You're agitating them to die on the hill of slaughtering children, of rounding people up, dislocating people, forcing migration within a tiny strip of besieged territory that has been cut off of electricity, of food, of water, of resources, hospitals bombed, all kind of areas desecrated, churches, mosques, everything bombed, and you put them into a slither of land and you carpet bomb them, and then you starve them. This is what y'all are defending. There wasn't a ceasefire on October 6th. And I'm not defending in any way, shape, or form what happened on October 7th. I will not defend that. I'm not defending having hostages. But what's the proportionality here where Palestinian lives come into play? How many fucking children have to be slaughtered? We're already at least 14,000. That's not even counting the people that are currently starving to death. And so if you cannot see a reason why there's an outcry to stop that, why there's an outcry to stop billions of dollars going to aid in the slaughter of besieged, helpless people, you've lost the motherfucking plot, not these students. And they can put up whatever person they want. Oh, these bratty entitled children, these woo. We have too much emphasis on decorum in this country, too much emphasis on trying to win elections instead of pushing our politicians to do the right fucking thing. And we have more emphasis on that than we do on watching human carnage being broadcast in front of us over and over and over again. You've lost the fucking plot. If you put more emphasis on what bratty little children are doing, right, and how they doing it, than you do on the fact that the bombing and the slaughter and the starvation, the famine, and just the carnage needs to stop. Period.
Yep. All right, folks. So we'll see, because graduation is coming up, and so those will be interesting events ahead.
Wait. Can I say one more thing? Because President Biden said that the protests have led to the cancellation of the graduation. No, USC canceled the graduation because they did not want to give a valedictorian who was not who was Arab or Muslim the ability to give her speech. Yep. That is what canceled it, not agitators.
Yep.
Fanbase is pioneering a new era of social media for the creator economy. This next generation social media app with over 600,000 users is raising $17 million, and now is your chance to invest. For details on how to invest, visit startengine.com/fanbase or scan the QR code. Another way we're giving you the freedom to be you without limits.